morning, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. It's Nefertiti, and I'm back with another video. I hope you guys are having a blessed day. And I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about giving yourself grace. Some of us, this is not for everybody, but some of us tend to beat ourselves up so much that we don't give ourselves enough grace. Now, there's always an exception to the rule. You don't want to get lazy, so you want to make sure you're on top of yourself enough where you're vigilant, you're proactive, you're not lazy. So we're not talking about being lazy or not doing anything, but I'm saying that whenever you know you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're trying hard and you're doing everything you can, and things may not be going the way you want them to go, that doesn't mean beat yourself up. And even if you make a mistake, we have to forgive ourselves. A lot of times we'll be quick to try to forgive somebody else before we forgive ourselves. So still treat yourself with care and love and grace. Grace yourself. We can beat ourselves up to the point where we see ourselves in a negative light. You know what I mean? Like you can beat yourself up so much to where you're like coming at your own self in a negative way. Oh, you're so stupid. Why would you do that? Oh, you're dumb. Why would you go that way? How many times are you going to keep messing up? Like, dang, you're talking to yourself like that. And so imagine if somebody else was talking to you like that. Would you like that? I'm sure you wouldn't want nobody to talk to you, putting you down, especially when you know you're trying, or maybe you made a mistake and you have to trial and error. You have to try to figure it out. Maybe you didn't know how to do something and you made a mistake and someone comes at your neck and then they come, they talking to you crazy. You're like, whoa, hold up. I'm learning. That's how you have to see yourself. You have to make sure that you are not putting yourself down. Yes, there are areas that we must work on. Yes, there are areas that we can grow in. However, when you are trying to grow in them areas, when you're trying to work in them areas, sometimes there's going to be trial and error. And that means you're going to have to, when you try something, if you don't succeed, you have to get back up and try again or try another way. And that's just a part of life. It's whenever we fall down and we don't get back up. It's whenever we get lazy or we expect for other people to do things for us. That's when we're like, okay, get up on your feet. It's time for you to get up off your butt. You know what I'm saying? But when you're doing everything you're supposed to do, give yourself some grace. Like, okay, if you're working on a car and you make a mistake, all right, I didn't realize that I wasn't supposed to do it that way. Let me try a different way. You know what I mean? Give yourself some grace and don't beat yourself up, and make sure that even though you make trial and errors, you are still speaking life to yourself in the process. All right. So if you failed at something, you can be like, you know what? Yes, I failed here, but I'm not going to fail every time. I'm going to try again. I'm going to read a book to learn more, and I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to be better than ever. Speak life into yourself. Don't allow those negative thoughts to creep into your mind, because you get to thinking, you get to saying negative stuff to yourself. You'll begin to believe it, and not only will you believe it, you begin to walk in that. And you don't want to walk in a negative perspective about yourself. And that also is a door to open yourself up to having insecurities, because I want y'all to know that we're all going to have times where we trip up. We're all going to have times where we try something new and maybe it doesn't work out at first, but that doesn't mean that you beat yourself up because it didn't work out. You don't beat yourself up when you make a mistake. You don't keep making a mistake. You try to overcome and try to grow and try to see what you can do to not make that mistake again. But that doesn't mean that you go talk to yourself crazy and call yourself stupid and dumb and retarded. You don't do that to yourself. We have to love ourselves. And a part of loving ourselves is speaking life and speaking positivity into ourselves. When you love somebody, when you love your child, when you love your dog, when you love your parents, when you love your siblings, whoever you love, you're not always going to speak negative to them, because you love them and you want them to know that you love them. So you watch what you say when you talk to them, right? So do that for you. Give yourself the same grace. I always think about how God gives us grace. And even when we mess up, and even though, oh, Lord knows, sometimes we don't even deserve it. And that's real. Sometimes we don't even deserve the grace, but we may have done something that seems horrible to everybody else. But because we have gone to God for forgiveness, He gives us grace. And grace is pretty much where it's like, okay, I know you did something wrong, but I'm going to give you another chance. even though we don't always deserve it, God has grace in his heart. He has patience in his heart. So he still gives us another chance because he sees that, okay, they didn't mean to make that mistake, or they did make that mistake, but they can overcome that. They can grow from that. You know what I mean? They can learn from that, especially when you're trying to learn from it. Now, it's different when you're not, when you don't care, you out here making decisions and you want to do what you want to do in the way you want to do it, and that's just what it is. That's different. You're going to have consequences moving like that. You're going to have consequences. You acted nonchalant, you out here being rude and ignorant. Guess what? You're going to get the same thing that you're dishing out. But just know that it's okay to take a deep breath and be like, you know what? All right, I made a mistake. All right, I messed up. All right, but I'm going to get back up and I'm going to try again. And it's not always about making a mistake. I'm just talking about like anything in life, because we beat ourselves up whenever we're not good at things. Even if you start a new class and you're in maybe a Zumba class or in a dancing class, or you're starting a sport and you're not that good at the beginning, and because you see everybody else, they're so good at what they're doing and they're so skilled, you tend to beat yourself up because you're comparing yourself to them, and now you feel like you're less than because you are not as good as the person that you're looking at. But that's the thing. How do you think that they got there? They got there because they worked on it. They got there because they practiced, and they got there because they fell down a few times. The people that you see that are successful in businesses, that are successful in sports, that are successful in finances, whatever it is that they're doing, they're successful in it, but trust and believe that they had some trial and error on the road. There were some bumps in the road, okay? So yes, we may have bumps in the road, but I'm encouraging you to encourage yourself. When you mess up, when you fall short, forgive yourself and do what you got to do to overcome that. Work on it. Pray about it. Ask God for guidance on which way you should go, on how you should go about it. And understand that we all need grace, especially yourself. So make sure you give yourself enough grace, but also not to give yourself excuses to do what you want to do and slack. But just know that you need grace too. All right? I love you guys. God bless y'all. If y'all haven't already, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Be sure to join my other YouTube channel, which is in the description below. If you haven't already, watch my other videos. You may learn something from it. You may get something from it. You know what I mean? And if it's on your heart, please share it, because you never know who needs this. You never know who this can bless. All right? I love you guys. God bless you. Stay tuned.